Libras, welcome to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for June of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Libra, a lot going on this month, as there usually is, but particularly this month, a lot of aspects. So I'm going to talk about the most important ones. If you do want a more specific look, be sure to check out the weeklies where I go into all of this in detail. But this should give you a very good overall picture, and I'll highlight some key dates as well. So coming into this month, we've got your ruler Venus and the Sun in your 8th house. So there's a lot of this focus on what really matters in life and perhaps where you can do some of that transformation. You know, the 8th house is the house where we've hidden away a lot of things, our fears basically. And whenever planets come in here, especially the Sun and a ruler, it's a good time to go within self and to see where there might have been some things or aspects of ourself that we've hidden away or brushed away, where we can now accept and we can now redeem. And it's through that acceptance that the real transformation occurs and the real healing occurs. So I think it's a great month for transformation, for healing, for diving deep within self, for being intimate with self, which then leads to stronger intimacy with relationships and all of that kind of stuff. So that's the emphasis the first half. Now on the 4th, we have the new moon in that 8th, so I think it's a good time around the 4th to sit with it, to reflect on these matters. The new moon is going to be conjoining up to your ruler Venus, so there's a new you coming out of all of this. So accepting yourself, and again, reflecting on yourself, your self-image, and your independence, who you are, these kinds of matters. Again, this can be a deep new you, a rawer you, a truer you, if you will, really emerging from this new moon. Now I do want to say that it is forming a grand cross, which is those squares. So it's about taking action, it's about being patient, and perhaps challenging yourself. You know, it's a great time to challenge yourself because it's through these challenges in life, of course, that we grow. So that's the 4th. Then on the 7th, we've got Mercury going into that 8th house. So there is that shift now in terms of where I think you have been thinking about relationships, and there was a lot of things you learned about relationships last month. Now I think there's more of a now thinking about where you can actually apply the intimacy, where you can apply the deeper connections, the truths of yourself, the truths of life. And maybe for some of you even work with codependency, interdependency, and shared resources, which is also 8th house. Because Mercury is a very practical planet, helps us understand and work with that energy. But I think for all of you generally, thinking more about the deep connections, the deep things, the fears that you can accept in life. Now on the 9th, we have the North Node trining up to Pluto. And so this is a very deep transformational energy as well, specifically with your life path. Now your life path has been shifting this year for you to cultivate your either community, your friends, your groups, your organizations, if it's on that level, or on the other level, it could be your hopes and wishes. So it's a great time, and I think with Jupiter there, you guys are seeing this, to expand, to grow, and I think here around the 9th, to really transform your perspective of those things and maybe even make some changes, let go of some old energies relating to them so you can continue to cultivate these new things in your life relating to community or your ideals. Now on the 12th, Mars is going to be trining up to Chiron, so there is some healing taking place. And I think this is easy healing, and this is specifically, again, with you, because Mars has been retrograde in your 1st house. You guys are, this pretty much whole month with Mars retrograde, up until the very end, he's going to go direct. You guys are reflecting on your independence, your assertiveness, who you are, what are your goals, where are you putting energy, where have you been putting energy. And so reflecting on that and thinking about it, I think, is a good way for you guys to be doing some healing. And I think it'll just come very naturally. I think it can be very rejuvenating, in fact, especially around the 12th, for you guys to have this sense of feeling fresh about self and fresh about where you're putting your energy, even though it's reflective. Now on the 14th, we got Neptune going retrograde in your 5th house of self-expression. So there is a bit of this reflection now for about the next 5 months in terms of how you're expressing yourself. What are your interests? What are your passions? Where can you really let go of your self-expression and the things you're interested in, or your things that are close to your heart even, whatever that might be for you personally, so you can have more peace in your life. Let them go, have that surrender, and a tremendous amount of peace can come from that. And this has been an ongoing theme, so it's nothing new with that. but I think for the next 5 months, from this mid-month onward, to be reflecting on those matters can be great. Now on the 17th and 18th, Saturn then squares up to that Neptune. So this has been a Saturn in your second house. So a lot of you may have been finding that it's a time of limitation or having to work hard or be very grounded and mature and disciplined when it comes to your finances or when it comes to your material wealth or resources or even your sense of self-worth, right? Or your self-reliance. So with those matters, it's very important for you to continue to work hard towards. That's where Saturn is really helping you get disciplined with, build these things for the long term. And I think around the 17th, 18th, you might be uncertain about it. And this has been an ongoing energy. This has been going on since November. So if you think back to November, if there's anything regarding that specifically that you can think of, it could be dealing with that. But here, just like then, letting go, having faith and trust that everything involving the material or earthly side of things is happening in divine timing. And that's what you're really building and really concretizing this month. And one thing too is I think there is going to be some intuition. I think there's going to be some insight coming in, not so much on the practical level, but on the intuitive level about it. Now also on the 17th, 18th, Venus goes into Gemini. So with this one, now the shift, the transformations start to occur, okay? Because it's very deep, you know, it's the 8th house stuff for the first half, but now Venus going into the 9th, I think around 17th and 18th, you guys are transforming. You guys are coming up to this new you again, but I think more about seeing what's possible in life. Maybe getting more philosophical, spiritual perhaps. Some of you might be doing some traveling for the next month, you know, expanding your horizons on that level, doing some hiking or whatever, going out into nature. So you guys are transforming. I think you're going to notice a definitive shift after this point, and I think just continuing to open your horizons from the 17th onward is excellent this month. Now on the 20th, we got a lot going on. We got 3 major things. We've got the sun shifting into that Gemini. So along with your ruler, I think from the 20th onward, there's now energy gained from expanding your horizons. I think there's more of that feeling of transformation, of feeling, you know, that you've come out of a deeper place and now you're coming to a much lighter place. You're seeing what's possible, etc. So great place to focus on, whether it's philosophical, spiritual, whether it's connected to nature, whatever it is, you can be gaining that energy there. Now on the 20th as well, Jupiter is going to conjoin up to that north node in your 11th. So this is where those possibilities, I think, continuing to unfold with either your groups or your ideals. So there's opportunity, and it depends on your personal chart if that's an external thing or whatever. But at the very least, for all of you, you guys are seeing what's possible with this. And I think around the 20th, really using that momentum, using that insight to continuously grow and expand with connecting to the friends, groups, or your hopes and wishes in life. Now, also on the 20th, we got a full moon. All right, so now the culmination point, and this is going to be involving your 2nd and your 3rd house. So there is culmination regarding the financial or material stuff, which is great. There's an awareness, there's a high point, status check. You can see what's working and what you can continue to work on, what hasn't been working, and you can let go of or modify or change. And this is the halfway point with these things you're cultivating. And it could be a high point too. Now it's also your 3rd house, so you guys can become very aware of your mind and of your communications around the 20th also. So it's a great time to learn, to read, to write, to communicate. I think a lot of that mental and communicative energy will be very strong around the 20th. Now the 26th has Jupiter trining up to Pluto, and so here's more powerful changes from Pluto, and this is going to be with your worldview, with your, again, possibilities with what you're cultivating, with your hopes and wishes, with community or groups or friends. And so a lot of powerful changes. I think here you're really willing to see things you didn't see before, to dive deep, to change your perspective of them. And this, again, could be a supportive time for that stuff specifically. Now on the 27th, Chiron goes retrograde, so there's this healing reflection. The healing has already been taking place with your either work, your health, your diet, your routine. So now for the next roughly 5 months, reflecting on that, where you can heal if there's any doubts or insecurities about your work or about your ability to improve yourself or take care of these things or whatever it might be. Just reflecting on that a little bit, I think, can be very beneficial. Now on the 29th, Mars goes direct. All right, so there's a lot of this now forward-moving momentum. We're probably going to feel it more so in July in this regard, but things are definitely shifting, and you'll probably notice this at the end of the month, where a lot of the reflection you did about yourself, about your goals, about your independence is now starting to move forward, and it could even be an insightful time. Again, this month has a big signification of you guys transforming, of this new you, and with Mars going direct, a lot of this more independent energy. All right, Libra, so have a fantastic month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.